In this week's video, I'm building a coffee filter holder. Let's get into the shop and I'll show you how I built it. Before we get into the build process, I want to show you what the finished product looks like. It's really simple. You know, we've got 3 pieces in here, 2 side pieces that are identical, and then the middle piece is a little bit wider and it has been hollowed out so that it can accept a coffee filter. In this case, it's a number 4 filter. You can obviously vary it to whatever coffee filter size that you need for your projects. All right, let's get into the build. So what I have here is a piece of sapelli that is about 11 inches wide, roughly 14 inches or so long, and this is 1.25 inches thick. Because there's a crack in here, I wanted to make sure that we make the most out of this board while avoiding that crack. So I took an outline of the holder that we want to make, and if you look at the shape here, just wanted to kind of quickly reiterate that the black line indicates where the inside hollow piece is going to be, and that's where the coffee filter obviously is going to sit. But the entire, piece of paper here gives us the idea of the overall dimension, particularly for the sides of the holder. The height of this is about 5 inches and the length is about 7 inches or so. So I'm going to rip this board into about 5.5 inches wide, and then the top section we're going to use for the 2 side pieces. So we'll resaw that. And for the other side of the board, we want to avoid the crack here. And all we're interested in is this little area right here. And there's plenty of good board in here for us to be able to cut that out while avoiding the crack. Even though these 2 pieces look relatively flat, they actually are not. There's a little bit of rocking to them, and so I want to make sure that we mill this to be flat and square, and then we can move on to the next step. Because we already know that the height of our piece is 5 inches tall, and the bottom and the top kind of runs parallel to each other at 5 inches, it's just going to be easier for us to already rip this to 5 inches, so that way later on we're not making any adjustments and we just kind of use the edges as a guide. Of course, this is way too thick to be the side piece, so what we need to do is resaw this into a thinner material. While the thickness is not critical in any way, you definitely don't want it to be this thick, and I'm going to go for something about 3/8 of an inch or so. What this process is going to do is leave behind one surface on each of the pieces that is going to be pretty rough due to the bandsaw, and I'm going to clean that up on a drum sander. So what we want to do now is take our template, line it up, and again, these should be pretty close. The top and the bottom pieces, they should be pretty close, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a straight edge as a reference, and then now we want to transfer over these lines. And then finally the curve. This is a little bit harder to do, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a rough outline, and then we can always refine this later on once everything is kind of finished and glued up. So at the bandsaw here, we're not doing anything fancy, we're just following the lines that we created. Do be mindful when you're making this cut and try to stay on the outside of the line so that you kind of have a little bit of wiggle room to work with when you're sanding things to finish. It's not perfect by any means, especially here where I did a pretty bad cut, It's a bandsaw cut, right? So it's not going to be perfect and there's going to be some cleanup that's necessary. But this gives us a good idea of what we're working with. And at this point in time, I want to make sure that we sand the inside two pieces because it's going to be pretty tight to get in there to be able to sand everything once the glue up is done. So we're going to do that first and then we're going to move forward with the glue up. All right, so we're now ready for glue up and this should be pretty uneventful. I'm using Titebond 3 here, but really you can use pretty much any wood glue that you want. And in this case, don't apply too much glue, especially because you really don't want too much of the squeeze out on the inside, which is going to be a little bit of a pain to clean up. And of course, who doesn't like to spread glue using their fingers and getting everything pretty dirty? There you go. And that should be plenty of glue for this. And then we can put the glue on top here. All right. And then we can put our top piece here. So we have the beef, the bulk of the beef is right here, right? Of the wood in the middle. So I'm gonna just go ahead and put the clamp right at that section. That side is nice and tight, and then we're gonna use one more clamp. And that should be plenty of clamping force. If you remember the video that we did on the coaster holder, where we probably used, like almost 20 clamps, and I said, plan ahead and think through your steps when it comes to clamping. I'm learning, guys. All right, so this has been drying for a day now, and so the glue should be pretty dry, and we should be able to work on the rest of it. Here's what it looks like. So next we want to clean the edges, particularly the straight ones are going to be treated differently than the curved one because it just requires different tools to be able to do that. You could just sand this to finish if you want. That would probably take a while. You could use a hand plane, and the hand plane might work well on this side while it's edge grain. It starts to approach end grain here, and it's definitely end grain here. So hand planing this would be very, very challenging, though not impossible. I'm gonna go ahead and actually clean this up on a table saw. And in order to keep it down, I'm just using some double-sided tape here and eyeballing the cut line to make sure that we get a little bit of material removed here, but not too much. I don't really feel safe making this cut when it comes to just relying on the tape. So as an extra added measure, I'm going to hold it down with the block like so. Okay, so we now have completed all of our straight edges. They look nice and clean. Now we need to deal with this curved surface, and using the table saw for this is not ideal, of course. I think the best tool to use for something like this would be a disc sander if you have one. I personally don't own one, but I do have a belt sander and I have a hand sander. So I'm gonna try to do a combination of a belt sander and a hand sander for this, and hopefully it looks good. Okay, so that actually did the trick very nicely. It's a lot smoother than I expected. So really, we don't have to do a whole lot to this. Maybe we can actually hand sand instead of using like a powered sander. But we also want to clean up the surfaces here and sand to finish. So I'm going to show you how that's done. For finishing, we're using nitrocellulose lacquer, satin finish. Pretty simple, easy to apply, and it dries pretty quickly. Well, that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and if you did, please be sure to click the like button below and consider subscribing to my channel if you're not subscribed already. I have many fun ideas coming up in the future as soon as the weather picks up a little bit more, and you won't want to miss out. So subscribe, follow along. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.